Good day, everyone. Thank you for attending our session. I would like to remind everyone that this session will be recorded. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce our speaker, Franco Adun, on his topic Building and Supporting Teachers in the Community.
Okay, thank you, Julia, for that. Okay, teachers, magandang hapon po and good afternoon to everyone. For today, no, and for this sharing, I will be sharing about building support for teachers, no, or for community of teachers, okay, especially in the midst of the pandemic or during the pandemic that we have gone through in education. Okay, siguro lang po, ano, before we start, teachers or administrators, kung meron din po mga administrators dito, is that what I'm going to share for today will be something that's coming from a practical experience. Okay, so I will not be drawing from any theoretical, ideological perspective or basis. Okay, so what we're going to like witness today is basically what we've gone through in building a community and also supporting a community of teachers through the Facebook page that we put up last year, during at the height of the pandemic or at the beginning of the pandemic last year. Okay, so that's where I will be coming from. So I will also be welcoming all insights, also sharings later, and the things that you might want to also express and ask about our topic for today or our sharing for today. So I hope that you are all okay with that, and we are all on the same page about this sharing. Okay, so teachers, let me begin with, again, introduce myself. I'm Franco P. Adun. I'm one of the administrators of a Facebook page, okay, called Kaagapay Teacher Support, okay, which we founded last June 2020. That's as a result of the transition to online distance learning during the pandemic. Okay, so we thought of a way to support our teachers or to build a community, and from then on, things blew up and it became bigger. And that's what we're going to actually talk about today. How do we sustain and how do we support a community of teachers, okay, especially in the context of the pandemic, doing online distance learning? Okay, so that's me, teachers. Franco Nicolo Piado. No? I'm not the only administrator of our group, teachers. I also have co-administrators, mainly Sir Jambi, Teacher Pau, and Sir Jello. So there are four of us, okay, manning and um, supporting, the community that we put up last year. Okay, so something about Kaagapay Teacher Support. Okay, so basically that's a community of teachers. Okay, that's basically a Facebook page that we put up last year, no, June 2020, to be basically to support teachers, okay, to transition to online distance learning, because for us that's one of the things that we realized was very much needed, okay, during the pandemic, no, on how to support our teachers, okay, to adapt, no, and to transition to online distance learning. Okay, but we're going to grow from there, and we're going to discover a lot of things about supporting teachers. Okay, one, it's not really easy. Second, okay, that there's so much complexity and things that we have to consider when we are supporting or building a community. Okay, so that's basically Kaagapay Teacher Support. I'll be telling you more about Kaagapay Teacher Support later on, and what exactly we do in that community. Okay, so it was exactly on June 17, 2020 when we founded the Kaagapay Teacher Support. Okay, I was the founder. No, I am the founder of Kaagapay Teacher Support, and it came from the idea of looking for a way to support people, or not really just teachers, okay, but looking for a way to be significant in the midst of the pandemic, because at the time, okay, I can see a lot of people doing their own things, okay, sharing their resources, okay, gathering resources for people to support them like financially, or providing them food, okay, and supporting the frontliners, etc. Okay, so I thought to myself, how can I help and what can I do? Okay, and at that time, okay, I don't have the resources, okay, to be able to actually like fund, okay, a drive, okay, to support frontliners or those that are in need of resources. Okay, and since I thought that I am a teacher, and I am sort of like in a way not really expert, but in a way proficient in using technology in the classroom. And this is one thing that our teachers will be needing as we transition to online distance learning. That's the time that I actually thought, no, why not put a community in order to to source or to provide resources and support for teachers. Okay, so but initially, teachers, the Kaagapay teacher support was not meant to be someone that gives like the support that we're giving right now. Initially, it was just simply a space, okay, a virtual space, okay, for teachers to gather, to share resources, okay, insights, ideas, okay, and perhaps okay, gather strength from each other in order to draw some sort of strength, no, and support, okay, to all throughout the pandemic. And hopefully that should be enough, no, to push them through the online distance learning. But again, okay, we're going to find ourselves, okay, doing more, okay, beyond just a virtual space where teachers meet and share resources. But that's definitely going to be that definitely is to one of the things that we're doing right now, to be, a space for teachers to gather and to share resources. Okay, so so kaagapay basically came from the why did we use the word kaagapay? It actually meant a companion, okay, someone that walks with you, and that actually became our guiding principle in building this community. We did not want to lead them, okay. Like first and foremost, we do not have like capacity or authority to actually be that one that actually leads a group of people. What we have at that time was basically company. We have time for them. Okay, so that idea of kaagapay teacher support, and the word kaagapay encapsulates the idea of someone to be with them. Okay, not necessarily to give them the answers. Okay, not necessarily to give them the solutions to their problems. Okay, and not necessarily to tell them what to do in online distance learning or in during the pandemic, but rather just someone to be with them, to listen to them, okay, if they don't know things, okay, to search for answers with them, and perhaps to do things with them. It's always been our guiding principle all throughout our time in the Kaagapay teacher support, okay, to make sure that we provide companionships to our teachers, okay. And of course, no, it will again expand beyond that, what we mean by companion, okay. Now, when we look at this teachers, no, our page, no, it was again, no, originally meant to be a network of teachers for teachers. Okay, that's the basic and most fundamental essence of Kaagapay Teacher Support, the community that we built. Okay, it's not something that actually has a very structured hierarchy wherein there's like a leader, there's a manager or administrator, but rather our community had become a community of equals, okay? A community wherein all teachers, no, regardless of where you're coming from, which school you're coming from, public or private schools you're coming from, you are always welcome to join. You're always welcome to join to contribute, okay, to be a speaker, to contribute to the cause, okay, to donate to different drives, etc. Okay, so again, that's been, at the heart of our Facebook page, all throughout from the beginning of our existence. And it was on July 4 that we actually started, okay, going beyond just being a space of sharing resources. Okay, and we started our first webinar on July 4. That's our first webinar on module making. It actually blew up. It actually became like our most popular event, no, in Kaagapay Teacher Support. Okay, if I can still remember our live session, okay, it was actually attended by at least 7,000 live viewers at that time. Okay, so it was actually nerve-wracking event, no. And okay, that was actually very memorable because okay, that was the first webinar that we held. Okay, we don't have any skills or knowledge yet about streaming technicalities, etc. But it's just all about our passion and our drive to help teachers, okay, and to reach out to them. Okay, so we continue with that and delivered our first webinar. And I could still remember that at that time we were actually operating in a 1 Mbps internet connection. So you can just imagine, and we were using StreamYard with a requirement of 2 Mbps. So it's really, technicality wise, it was not very something that we would ideal, okay, for a webinar, for a session like that. Okay, but anyway, we were able to go over it. And by the way, it's but aside from the internet connection, we still had problems because that was a rainy season. This is month of July, so there's actually habagat. So it was actually raining. Gusts of wind can be heard from the stream. It's all the things that could possibly happen, and for our first webinar happened. Okay, but that actually became our source of strength, and we actually pushed through and continued giving webinars after that, okay, which now, okay, is actually a total of at least 50 plus webinars, okay, in our Facebook page, okay, ranging from different topics, okay, and titles, no, for the teachers. Okay, so basically all these webinars are catered to teachers. Okay, and again, we're still continuing that. Actually, we're now on our August series right now. Okay, we're going to be implementing our August series soon. Okay, this of course, no, this August 12th. Okay, so and after that, teachers, no, the community also grew. We are now a community of 72,398 at least. Okay, and growing number of teachers. That's how much followers we have now in our Facebook page. Okay, and we did not expect that. Okay, that's something that that was unthinkable from our end. Okay, we never really thought about, okay, having a community of that much. Okay, and that now poses the challenge of sustainability. It poses challenge of how else we can become relevant and how we can actually support this massive amount of teachers in one community. Okay, and now when we think about building a community, the first question is actually, so how do we actually build a support for teachers? How do we build a community? And how do we build the support for those teachers in our community? Okay, and before we even think about um, delving deeply into this question, teachers, now, one thing that I realized, okay, while serving as an administrator of Kaagapay Teacher Support and giving all of these webinars and support for teachers, is that teacher support, okay, for the most part, is actually misallocated and deeply misunderstood. Okay, in a way that when we think about teacher support, okay, we have to ask ourselves, okay, are we actually able to provide the needed support to the teachers? Or are we just okay, providing this required okay, sort of like support for them, but not necessarily able to attend to what they actually need? Okay, so this is one of the things that guided no, the programs, okay, the actions, okay, movement, okay, and the support that we're giving in Kaagapay Teacher Support. Okay, so with that, teachers, now with that kind of revisiting, okay, our idea of support for teachers, okay, the first thing that we'll have to actually do in order to provide a sustainable, relevant, okay, and appropriate support for teachers is that you'll have to redefine what support is. Okay, and when we say redefine support, okay, is that to look back again, no, what do we have now as a support? Okay, and for the most part, and teachers, now when we look at support right now, we always can think of that support right now is usually defined Okay, and that's one of the things that, well, of course, no definition, having like a structure for a particular support is actually always welcome. But in sometimes that definition or having a support to be too defined, okay, actually loses its relevance to some teachers. It does not able this kind of support is not able to address, okay, the ongoing dynamic needs of our teachers, okay, and therefore, okay, this kind of support no does not really meet and addresses no the needs of our teachers at the present and the current situation. Okay? So yun yung kailangan unang nating isipin no about support, okay? About support being defined, okay? Second, I noticed that some of the support no that we're giving no or that are existing in different institutions, okay, are prepackaged, okay? That this support are already designed, okay, already made, okay, and ready to be delivered. Okay, and again, there's nothing wrong about that. Okay? This kind of support no makes it more efficient, okay, easy for employment, okay, implementation, etc. But sometimes, okay, having a prepackaged okay, support, okay, again, okay, misses the point of supporting our teachers. Okay, it sometimes, okay, I don't know, consumes are based on some generalizations on what our teachers need, okay, versus what our teachers actually need at the time, okay. So these prepackaged are sometimes no again not hitting the points, okay, or not addressing as well no the support that our teachers actually need, okay. And of course, some support are standardized. Okay, so it takes into account some generalization, some assumptions, okay, about about our teachers and what are the perceived needs of our teachers, okay, and therefore, okay, we tend to apply a standardized solution, a standardized approach, and a standardized course of action for particular problems or issues that our teachers are encountering, which sometimes no undermines the individual experiences, okay, and the individual courses and maybe context of our teachers. Okay, I'm not saying that having a standard program, okay, that can be delivered to teachers is wrong. I'm just saying that aside from, of course, those standardized, okay, generalized, okay, support, there's also a need for looking at the individual level, okay, to be able to actually reach out to our teachers, especially at this time, okay, where during the online distance learning, where we're all working at home and our context, our home situations had become very, very relevant, okay, to the context and for our teachers' ability to perform as a facilitator, teaching and learning process, okay. So therefore, teachers know because of this existing support, okay, being defined, okay, standardized, okay, and prepackaged, okay, we'll have to start, okay, what we can call no undefining teacher support, okay. So that's one of the things that we tried to do no in Kaagapay teacher support, okay, when we tried to think about how do we support our teachers, okay. So we start about redefining or undefining the idea of teacher support, okay, so that it can actually address, okay, the concerns no, of our teachers. Okay? And with that teachers, no, when we talk about undefining it, then we think about the first thing that we did, okay, for our teachers, okay, in our community is of course, okay, to empathize with them. Okay. And sorry, empathize with them. So that because with these teachers now with our ability to empathize with them. Okay, sorry for the spelling. It allows you to actually go and connect with your teachers and actually see what's going on and what's wrong and what are the issues and probably what possible solutions or answers you can actually give to them or provide. Okay, and when with this kind of yes, with this kind of I don't know, being empathy, you know, with our teachers, it allows you to actually customize and personalize the support for your teachers. Okay. Second is to listen, okay, to their needs. Okay. When it comes when you entered no into that idea of empathizing, okay, and getting to their shoes, okay, you actually have to listen to them, not only about hearing them. Okay, there's a big difference about like hearing someone and listening to someone. Okay, so we actually listen to them. So what we do, for example, at Agapay Teacher Support, all our programs are actually designed, no, from the comments, okay, evaluation, suggestions of our teachers, okay, so that we always know the pulse, no, and what our teachers actually need at the moment. Okay, so for example, when we do go live stream, because all of our webinars actually are always live, okay, we always take into account the comment section, and that's actually one of the things that you'll notice in our live stream teachers and or our webinars. Our live chat is actually very alive, okay, and most of the time, okay, the next webinar or the next topic for our webinars, okay, would actually be design will actually come out from the live comments, okay, or the next project or the next support that we're going to give them would actually come from them, okay. And of course, okay, to allow support, okay, to flow and gather around them, our teachers, okay. So our support is not like structured, okay, in a way, okay. So we do not have like particular programs that we're running, okay. We do not have like a very structured programs that we're running in our community, but rather we always take into account what do our teachers need at the moment. Okay, so for example, right now, beginning of the school year already, we are creating a drive for printers. Okay, so we are gathering funds and to be able to produce and buy 20 printers for at least 20 schools, hopefully more. Okay, for our teachers. Okay, because we know that coming in into the next academic school year, most of the schools still need support for printers. Okay, so we always allow that kind of allowing the support, no, to flow and gather around them. Okay, so it's always the support is coming from the inside. Okay, defining the support is actually always coming from the inside, not from the supporter. Okay, and of course, paying attention to both the short term and the long term. Okay, so we do not like it's always still important, no, that you attend to the concerns, okay, or to support your teachers at the moment. Okay, what do they need at the moment? Okay, and that's perhaps one of the most important things that we always take into account in our community. But at the same time, it's always also good to have that long term vision or goal, okay, for your community. For example, right now we are working to be a CPD provider for teachers, okay, so that we can provide free training with CPD units for our teachers. Okay, so our application actually for in PRC at PRC is actually ongoing. And that's something that's actually driving, no, much of our efforts as well. Okay, while we're also attending to the small, okay, to the individual, to the personalized concerns of our teachers in our community. Okay, and siguro, no, I was reminded already by our host, by our moderator. But siguro all in all, teachers, no, when we talk about building and supporting teachers, okay, in the community, we talk about that teacher support needs to be sensitive, okay, consistent and present. Okay, it has to always be sensitive, no, looking at the needs of the teachers from their perspective, not from the perspective of the supporter. Okay, because usually there's always that tendency that if you're supporting someone, you tend to I don't know, to employ your perceptions, okay, on what they need, okay, or what support they actually would need, no. And of course, be consistent. Okay, it's a tiring efforts. It's a tiring advocacy, but nevertheless, no, being consistent and being always there, okay, and consistently doing what we do is actually also key on building that community, as well as, okay, of course, the last one is being present. Okay, making sure that your teachers, okay, would always feel your presence in whatever way possible. Okay, we have always have an open communication via messenger in our Facebook page. Okay, and all our resources are always open to our teachers. Okay, we have websites, okay, we have Facebook pages, we have Google Drive, to allow our teachers, okay, to get all the resources, possible resources that they would need in order to support, not for us to support them, and also for them to support themselves, because ultimately that's our goal, for them to support themselves and become self-sustaining teachers, no, amidst the pandemic, because of course we can't always be with them, to support them all throughout. Okay, we need to also build that stamina and resilience for them to also stand on their own. Okay, so teachers, that would be it. No, I know it's a very short sharing, but that actually captures no our adventure. I call it actually adventure, our journey as administrators of Kaagapay Teacher Support. So teachers, with that, maraming salamat, and I hope that I get to also share with you some points no about building and supporting a community. So maraming salamat, teachers. So I think we can now we can now entertain some questions. You might have some questions before we proceed. I know it's 6 minutes before we proceed to our panel or our plenary session. Go ahead, Miss Julia.
Okay. Oh, so as Sir mentioned, you guys can send your messages in the chat or through PM. You can also unmute yourselves to ask questions.
Just mukhang wala po. Okay, again, teachers, kung wala po, no, again, maraming salamat, teachers, kaya for listening and also for being with us here. Okay, so I hope that again your experience with learning exchange, okay, was fruitful, and okay, we'll see each other at the plenary if there are no questions. I think Miss Julia, wala namang questions, or are there like direct message so far?
So far, sir, no one
Wala
has.
naman, wala no. Okay. So teachers, Miss Julia, I think if there are no questions or concerns or insights, okay, from our viewers or audience, okay, maybe we can already proceed, okay, to our plenary session if that's the case.
Okay, so
Yeah.
thank you, sir, for the talk and the sharing. Do you have any other last messages for our participants?
Okay. Siguro ano lang, no, teachers, that's I think I already mentioned, no, but I think for all of us, not only for us supporting our other teachers, okay, let's always go for that. Let's always try to empower our teachers, okay, build that stamina and resilience among our teachers, okay, to be able to sustain themselves, because really the pandemic, no, and online distance learning is bringing a whole lot of challenges to many teachers, no, and in some cases po, no, which I also experienced personally, it's not always about providing answers. It's not always about providing solutions, teachers. Okay, in most cases, okay, supporting teachers is just being with them and being their companion, knowing that that assurance that our teachers can get from having someone that stands with them would actually be very helpful already. Again, maraming salamat, teachers. Yan, meron pala mga kaagapay din dito sa sa audience natin. So maraming salamat. Yes, Teacher Maki, see you in GCEL2 in late August or early September.
Okay, so participants, I've sent the link to the plenary in the chat. And also besides this, if you guys want to ask Sir more questions, you can send us a message or email him, send him a message through gbseald.online/share. It's the link down below in the screen that I'm flashing right now. So thank you, everyone. I hope to see you guys in the plenary session. Thank you, sir.